Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. Today, we're going to talk about how Target Target literally lost $10 billion, billion with a B, in market value in less than a week. And the reason they lost the $10 billion is because they kind of insist on going woke. And I'm going to talk to you guys about sort of where wokeness and profitability may not necessarily be the same thing. They may not be as connected as people think. And we're going to talk about how you make that distinction between how woke you want to be versus how broke you're going to end up being if you use the wrong policy. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics from a B1 perspective. B1 means Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means that when I get to Memorial Day, I'm saying a shout out to all the Black soldiers out there and even the non-Black soldiers. We don't hate nobody, but I got to put my people first. Also, B1 means that we want to build our community and we want to break generational curses. If you agree with that, then put a B1 in the chat. Shout out your city. I got to say real quick hello to Arthur and A-Tanks and BK New York and Sashi Pereira and Ruby Johnson. What's going on? Paramount's Finest and Tribes Online. Good to see you. All right. So here's what I just saw that was really interesting. And this has to do with a company called Target. Target is a company that I think is relatively well run. They know how to print money, but Target literally just lost $10 billion in market value in less than 1 week. They lost $10 billion in market value in less than a week because they kind of got sort of caught in the woke tornado of America. $10 billion, that's billion with a B. That's a lot of money. In case you're wondering if corporations care that they lost $10 billion, they absolutely do. And basically, the way you might measure the $10 billion loss is by looking at Target stock price. If you go and you search, and I'm actually search for this on the screen so you guys can see it. And by the way, those of you listening on Spotify, you won't see this, but I'll describe what I put on the screen. And this podcast is on Spotify, so if you ever want to listen in, just look up Boyce Watkins on Spotify. You'll find it there. All right, so let me show you guys this. And this is a good, interesting financial conversation. I would say it's a lesson, but I'm not here to preach to nobody. I'm just here to tell you what I see. All right, so you can understand economics better. So here you look here at this Target stock price, and those of you who are on Instagram, you may not see it, but you can definitely hear what I'm going to break down here. If you look at Target, what's fascinating is that right here you see just in 1 day they lost about 1.5%. That's a big drop. Over a 5-day period, it's about 7.9%. The last month they haven't done well. They've lost about 11.5%. Over the last 6 months, they've lost 17%. Year to date, they lost about 8.5%. Over the last year, they've lost 14%. Now, long term, if you're a Target stockholder, you did well. You made about 90% on your money. So really, this is why being a long-term investor is better anyway. But generally speaking, what's been going on is Target ran a campaign that really just made the conservatives mad. It was kind of part of the whole woke philosophy. It had to do with something involving like tuck-friendly bathing suits or something. I can't tell you what it means. What do you? I don't know what you're tucking in. It ain't my business. I'm not gonna ask you. Did you tuck it in or leave it out? That's up to you. So tuck or no tuck, I'm not here to judge. We're not here to talk about that side of things. You can have your own opinion on that. What I'm here to talk about is the economic side of things. A lot of companies make the mistake, in my view, of becoming too political in a politically charged environment. Just not too long ago, Bud Light literally saw a 24% drop in sales because they ran the whole transgender ad thing. Now, this is not against, again, I don't care how you feel about these topics. It's up to you to feel how you want to feel, but not everybody feels the same about this. And the other thing that happened with Bud Light in terms of why their revenue dropped is I think that the big business mistake that they made, and this is something you should consider if you ever want to run a business, is sometimes these companies fall into the lane of trying to be all things to all people. And I think that when you do that, the problem you have is that you end up sometimes alienating your core base by doing that. Like, I'm committed to my wife, but if I decide I want to be everything to every woman in the neighborhood, well, then my wife is going to get a little bit upset because she's going to say, hey, I invested in you. You're my husband, not their husband. So basically, with Bud Light, what I saw, which was kind of, now it's kind of become a verb. Like a lot of people are now saying that Target got Bud Lighted, right? Because Bud Light lost billions also because they did the whole trans thing. Um, I would almost say that maybe it makes more sense to stay out of politics. I know Disney's gotten involved in politics. Right now, Disney's losing billions of dollars fighting with the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. I don't care who wins the fight. I don't have a horse in the game. I don't live in Florida. But guess what I did? I sold my Disney stock because I don't need y'all getting gangster with my shareholder money. I don't really want to get into the culture wars when it comes to making money in business. I'd rather just focus. If I am a shareholder, and remember, shareholders control these companies, so all shareholders have a vote. My vote is that y'all focus on putting Mickey Mouse out there. You work Mickey Mouse like he's a $2 hooker. You get him out here, make those kids happy, put out your Little Mermaid movie, do what you got to do, make that money, and then come back with good numbers at the end of the quarter because that's what's going to put more money in me and my wife's bank account. When you start getting into these political issues, I'm really trying to figure out what companies are thinking that is leading them to want to even get involved. And let's be clear, not every company is doing what Target did, what Bud Light did, or what Disney did. You've got major brands out here. McDonald's ain't trying to get in the middle of nothing. Google's not getting in the middle of nothing. Amazon's not getting in the middle of nothing. Walmart's not getting in the middle of nothing. So let's just do a quick look right now, right? And let's take a look at some of the share prices of rival companies. And by the way, as I do this, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And I want to mention a Black-owned business that I hope you guys will go take a look at, the Freedom Company. They have the best Black apparel ever. Like if you're in like really super pro-Black stuff, Nat Turner type stuff, Madam President runs the Freedom.company. Go check out the Freedom.company. That's the website. It's not .com, it's .company. They have just the best apparel ever. But anyway, let me hop over here and show you guys what's going on with the stock prices of some of these other companies. Let's look at Amazon. Let's start with Amazon. By the way, green is always good. Now remember, with Target, you saw a lot of red. So the 5-day trend for Target was negative. Well, look at Amazon. Amazon is a rival to Target to some extent. Amazon's been green the last 5 days. Look at the last month. Target was red. Amazon's been green. The last 6 months, Target was red. Amazon's really green. Year to date, Target was red. Amazon's green. The last year, Amazon's about break even. It's slightly negative. It's red, but it's negative 0.08%. But the trend is in a positive direction. And so generally, when I look at Target, the thing about it, and I think the reason they lost so much shareholder value or they lost so much money is because shareholders were like, okay, we're comparing you to all these other places we could be parking our money. We've got our money in your shares, but we could easily go buy shares of Walmart, and Walmart isn't getting involved in stuff that doesn't make money. See, this is one of the reasons why in the Black Business School we created the first ever Black Financial Therapy Department, because y'all got to stop fighting each other. Y'all got to stop fighting your allies. You got to stop fighting your family members. You got to stop fighting people and get to the business of doing business. Because what happens is that fighting is expensive. Fighting costs money. Fighting causes you to lose money. That's why whenever mafia gangs get into a fight and somebody gets killed, they try to arrange a sit down so they can work it out, because they know that when they're fighting, everybody's going to lose. So basically, in this particular instance, I see Target really kind of fighting a battle that I don't really understand why they're fighting the battle. I just don't quite get it. I know that they immediately adjusted. Some heads are likely going to roll. My assessment of Target stock is not a positive one. I think I sold my shares of Disney and Target because I've had other places I can put my money. We have a ton of stuff out here that's doing well. In fact, the stock market is on its way up. The stock market is it's been in a dark space the last year and a half or so. And if you've been consistent in dropping money in the market, congratulations, because you're going to start seeing the payoff from that. If you haven't been doing it yet, I want to let you know that there is still some upside. And the upside is, look at the history, man. The stock market has always been your friend financially, but you got to get on the bus in order to get the ride, if you know what I'm saying. So if you want to get started with investing, or you want to do something real basic, go to my website, boycewatkins.com. I have the $5 a day investing plan that anybody can do, even a 5-year-old can do it. And what my goal is for the Black community is, I want to see everybody investing. My vision for the Black community is that I'm tired of us being broke. I'm tired of us being left behind. I'm tired of us always feel like we're supposed to be a day late, a dollar short, and not as smart as everybody else. I want to see us win. And the way you win is you got to plan. If you don't plan, then you won't win. So go make a plan. Go to my website, boycewatkins.com. I got 2 things there. The $5 a day investing plan, which is free, and also another training I did called How to Make Money Without Working. You can watch that for free also. So anyway, let's keep going. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Okay, so I'll read a little bit about what's going on with Target in terms of this fiasco they've created. It says here, according to the New York Post, that Target lost $10 billion with a B in market valuation over the last 10 days as the popular retailer continues to face backlash over its Pride-themed clothing line for children. A week ago, Wednesday, Target enjoyed its stock value at $160 per share, but following the calls to boycott the Minneapolis-based retailer over its Pride collection, the value plummeted and closed Friday at $138.93 per share. The nearly 14% drop in value for the blue chip stock roughly translates to $10.1 billion in losses, to a valuation of just $64 billion for Target, which has nearly 2,000 stores nationwide. What I'm going to look at right now really quickly is I'm going to look at Target's total market cap. Target's market cap is, right now, as of right now, is $64 billion. So apparently, according to this article in the New York Post, the valuation was about 14% higher than that, which would have took it over the $70 billion mark. So literally $10 billion in value lost. The plummet stands as the retailer's lowest stock price in nearly 3 years. So all the investors who poured their money into Target stock, hoping that the stock was going to make them money, hoping that the valuation would go up, they're now very disappointed, because literally their money has stayed flat or their money has gone down. Now, why is it that you still should invest, even if you know your money may not go up? Well, because look, if you spend your money, you know your money's going to disappear. If you take your money and run to the mall with it, you're going to get a negative 100% return on that investment every single time. But if at least when you invest, you got this chance that your money's going to go up. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I was a fan of Target. I like Target as a company, but stuff like this, I'm not a fan of any of this, because the market is showing that this does not work well from a bottom line perspective. I'm not saying that you should have a certain opinion on pride issues and all that. I get it, right? People have different perspectives, but you just have such a divided country that there is little space for corporations to get involved in the culture wars unless they're prepared to pay billions of dollars to be involved with that. Starbucks did that. Starbucks made a huge mistake. Starbucks wanted to pretend to be woke, so they put up the pride flag, they put up Black Lives Matters flags and all this other stuff to try to fit in with what they thought was the prevailing political consciousness. The problem for Starbucks, though, was that then their workers began to make this mistake. They made the mistake of believing that Starbucks actually meant what they were saying. They made the mistake of believing that because they were giving symbolism, they were willing to give substance. The workers made the mistake of believing that because they were willing to symbolically support their political issues, they were willing to actually share the money, which are two very different things. So let me tell you what happened. So what happened with the workers at Starbucks is they attracted all these, very liberal-minded workers, like, hey, you're really down, you're putting up the pride flag and you're Black Lives Matter, and you're liberal like us. So then they said, yeah, well, we want to form a union, because one liberal ideology is that workers should have power, which I happen to agree with. I think workers have lost so much power in this country. That's why wages aren't going up, because because rich people and corporations have been able to take over your government and kind of take over your country. That's the truth. However, when they came to Starbucks and said, we want to unionize, they were like, oh, wait, hold on. Wait, you mean we actually have to give our workers like more money? We don't want to do that. How about we throw you a party, or put a flag up on the store, and or tell you that we're going to vote for the same people that you're voting for? No, they were like, no, we want money. We want actual money. Well, then that's a whole different conversation. Starbucks backed away from the wokeness when it was actually going to cost them money. And this is similar to Black people's issue and dilemma when it comes to the reparations conversation. A lot of your politicians will gladly give you a ton of symbolism because symbolism is very, very free. It's very, very cheap. It's very, very easy. Talk is cheap. Talk costs nothing. But writing a check, oh, that's a whole different level of commitment. Just like ladies, if you dating a man and he says you're just like my wife, just know that somebody saying that you're just like their wife ain't the same as you being just like their wife. Because if you were just like their wife, you would be their wife. Right? I'm not trying to put pressure on anybody, but there's a difference between being the wifey and being the wife. The wifey ain't got no paperwork. The wifey ain't got no legal rights. The wifey doesn't have any economic security other than whatever he decides he's going to do in that moment. But the wife actually has a signed document that she can present to legal authorities that gives her access to the hospital if her man is sick. It gives her access to the bank account if her man dies in a car crash. It gives her access to resources and power that comes with being a spouse. Again, not telling anybody what to do. I'm just telling you that if you don't think marriage and family are a business investment or a contract or a legal agreement on some level, then you don't understand what marriage is about. Marriage ain't about whether or not you like somebody or think they're cute. Marriage is about actually forming a real life serious business partnership. So just make sure you think about that before you do it, or whatever situation you're in, just process it that way. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind you this podcast is on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, look up Boyce Watkins, you will find it there. I do content all the time, and I'd love to be able to just go with you on your investing journey. My goal is simple. I want Black people to be the most economically intelligent group of people on the planet. I believe that we can be as good at economics as we are at basketball because we love sports, but we love money even more than we love sports. And my new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It is an Amazon bestseller. It's a really good book. Read the reviews, check out the reviews. And if you like what you're reading, then I hope that you'll take a look and actually buy the book and buy some copies for your family. This book will change your life. It was designed to do that. All right. So let me go ahead and finish up this assessment here. Okay, so in conclusion, I'll say this. I think Target's making a huge mistake. Oh, is that Nichols for president? Oh, I thought you were Nicole, my friend Nicole Compton. Okay, well, I hope you become president, Nichols. I must have, I think I followed you, Miss Nichols. So if you're running for president, then I got your back because I ain't running for nothing. But anyway, so number one, I think Target made a mistake. I think Bud Light made a mistake. It's going to cost them a lot financially. I think that they're both backpedaling big time, and I think that makes sense. I think that there are a lot of great companies out here, like Chipotle is. Let me tell you this: Chipotle made me a grip of money in the last year or so. It was like taking candy from a baby. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. When Chipotle stock sank, my thinking was very basic. This is a great company with great management that makes great decisions that can print money whenever it wants to print money. This stock is going to come back up. So I bought Chipotle. I bought some long-term call options on Chipotle, and I made tens of thousands of dollars from that, right? So a lot of these investment moves are really easy, really predictable because I'm sort of schooled in all the research on how the stock market works. That's all I studied in my doctoral program. I can kind of tell you the easy money versus the hard money. So just hang out. Maybe there's some stuff out there. I think Chipotle still has a ways to run. I think it's going to keep going up over time. And in general, I really encourage you to get your kids invested. That's really something that I'm begging you to do because I don't want you to have to sell your kids into slavery because that's kind of what we have to do when we don't have money. And then you're all mad because your boss is racist and mistreating you. Well, if your parents invested for you using the $5 a day plan, then you wouldn't have to work for anybody. So give your kids the gift of freedom. Now I'm gonna answer a couple questions. I saw someone says, "What are your 3 P's of success?" For the 3 P's of success that I share with my youngest child is practice, preparation, and persistence. That if you want to be great at anything, you practice like crazy until you can't. They say that what is it? Amateurs practice something until they get it right. Professionals practice it until they can't get it wrong. So practice. Preparation basically means that it goes back to the Ben Franklin statement. I think he said something like 1 minute of preparation saves you an hour of time later on. So preparation, those who succeed economically and otherwise tend to be people who are best prepared. Like when you watch the NBA Finals and you see the Denver Nuggets, I think they're going to defeat the Boston Celtics. I think the Celtics are going to win, and the Celtics are going to get to the title game series, but I think the Nuggets are going to beat them. Well, that's preparation. You win championships in the locker room, you win championships in the gym, you win championships at the chalkboard. You don't win championships on the court, right? So preparation is the key to success, and then persistence persistence just means that the biggest variable between regular people and super successful people is typically comes down to one factor, and that's persistence. Successful people are people who failed just as many times as you have. The difference is that they kept going, right? So sometimes you'll go through 10, 15 failures to get to that first success. But if you go through 5 failures and then you quit, then you'll never get to the finish line where you actually have all your failures culminating into lessons which create your first success. So don't give up on yourself. That's the 3 Ps. Somebody also asked, do we have programs in the Black Business School for teenagers? Yeah, we've got something. If you go to, we got a couple of tools. We're really big on educating kids because I believe that's the secret weapon for Black people. That's how we can get ahead. I'm not interested in equality. I'm not seeking equality. I want Black people to actually win. And so we have one program. We have a Black Business School for children called blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. And we have 4 different modules you can take on real estate. You can do stock market investing. You can do regular standard investing, and you can do entrepreneurship. And then also we have financial flashcards for kids. So a lot of this stuff you can also find on my website, boycewatkins.com. So feel free to just take a look at all that if you think that that will help you. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all very, very soon. And take care now. Peace.